The cafeteria buzzed with laughter and noise, the way it always did at lunchtime. Kids traded snacks, joked across tables, and huddled in groups. But at the far corner, a quiet boy named Sammy sat alone with his lunch tray, a small sandwich, an apple, and a carton of milk. He didn't mind being alone. He'd learned how to be invisible. At 11 years old, Sammy lived in the foster system. Families came and went. Promises were made and broken. He didn't expect much anymore, not from people, and definitely not from luck. But that day, something different happened. As he unwrapped his sandwich, he saw a man sitting outside the school fence, thin, tired, and clearly hungry. The man wasn't begging or asking for help. He just sat there, staring at the food trucks across the street with quiet longing. Sammy hesitated. He looked at his lunch, then at the man again. And something inside him whispered, "You know what it feels like to be hungry." So, without thinking twice, he picked up his tray, slipped out the back door of the cafeteria, and walked straight toward the fence. The man looked up, startled. "Hey, kid, you shouldn't be out here." Sammy shrugged. "You look hungry." The man blinked, as if he hadn't heard that word directed at him in a long time. "I'm okay," he said softly. "I'll be fine." But his stomach growled, giving him away. Sammy smiled and pushed the sandwich through the fence. "You can have mine. I'm not that hungry anyway." The man stared at him for a long moment before taking it carefully, his hands trembling. "Thank you," he said. "What's your name?" "Sammy." "I'm Daniel," the man replied quietly. You remind me of someone I used to know." When Sammy got back to class, he didn't think much of it. He'd done something small, that's all. Something kind. But Daniel couldn't stop thinking about him. That evening he returned to the school and waited near the gates as the children went home. He saw Sammy again, walking alone, backpack hanging loose, no one waiting for him. Daniel approached slowly. "Hey, Sammy, you walking home alone?" Sammy nodded. "Yeah, I live at the group house down the road." Daniel hesitated, then said, "Mind if I walk with you?" They talked the whole way about superheroes, football, and Sammy's dream to one day have a kitchen of his own so he could cook for others. Daniel laughed. "That's a big dream, kid." Sammy grinned. "Yeah, but big dreams are free." Daniel didn't reply because, for the first time in years, someone had said something that warmed his heart. What Sammy didn't know was that Daniel wasn't just a man down on his luck. He was a former chef, one who had lost everything after an accident, including his home and family. For months, he'd been trying to rebuild his life, living in his car, taking odd jobs. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He kept seeing the boy's face, the one who gave him his lunch with no expectation in return. The next morning, Daniel went to the foster center listed on the school's website. He asked about Sammy. The staff were cautious at first, but when he told them who he was and why he was there, they let him visit. Sammy's eyes widened when he saw him. "You came back!" Daniel smiled. "I owe you lunch this time." They spent the afternoon at a small diner, burgers, fries, and milkshakes. Sammy laughed more in that one meal than he had in months. And as Daniel watched him, polite, bright, and kind, something inside him clicked. This boy didn't just need someone. He needed family. The following weeks were full of paperwork, interviews, and long conversations with social workers. Daniel was honest about his past, his struggles, his mistakes, his losses. But when they asked why he wanted to adopt Sammy, his answer was simple. "Because he already gave me something I didn't know I'd lost. Hope. A month later, Sammy sat nervously in the foster home's living room, clutching his backpack. Daniel walked in with a wide smile and 2 tickets to a baseball game. "You ready to go home?" Daniel asked. Sammy blinked. "You mean, with you?" Daniel nodded, eyes glistening. "If you'll have me." Sammy jumped up and threw his arms around him. "You bought me lunch this time," he whispered. "Guess we're even." Daniel laughed through his tears. "Not even close, kid." That night they drove home. Their home. Windows rolled down, city lights flashing by. On the dashboard sat an empty lunch tray and a diner receipt. Daniel glanced at it and smiled. One simple meal, one kind act, and 2 lives forever changed. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what's the smallest act of kindness that made a big difference in your life? Because sometimes it only takes one meal to make a family.